What's up, peoples? This live stream is called Understanding Texas Conservatives. So, yeah, it's a long list. Trying to go off the top of my head. One of their missions is to take control of Washington, D.C. Boom. That's the federal government. So, they find people such as content creators or, I don't know, attractive media personnel like reporters and attempt to push their conservative narrative throughout all the states. And it's they use a method attempting to make Democrats look stupid. So this is a bizarre situation. So Texas, it's like a massive state, right? Uh, with conservative values. They try to keep it that way. And the conservative value is the age of consent for sex is 16 years of age. So they will die for that shit, right? They don't want the Democrats or the liberals to come in and say, yo, these young women, the age of consent needs to be 18. So that's what they don't want. They don't want liberals invading their conservative values and habits that they have grown accustomed to. And now they in so much trouble with a 14-year-old. They want to lower the age from 16 to 14, right? So these people, they are okay with murdering half the country, right? Because of abortion. And they want to murder all of the adults or send them off to war. And they didn't even build up any foster homes for the offsprings of the Democrats. So that's hundreds of thousands of people, right? Well, kids, probably in the millions. So that's one flaw about the Texas conservatives. They have bizarre lower desires when it comes to politics, right? And there's another issue that's going on when it comes to the banking and financial system. Because down there in Texas, they got like, I believe it's a full scale Republican system. And they're trying to fight for that control. So they are always in the church. And it's like the church is a legacy entity, like a business entity, right? And it's a legacy because it started from their ancestors. So it's mainly a white man, white skin worshiping center or group. And they are like brainwashing other races, brown skin, Asian, everybody, right? Into this Jesus Christ is your Lord, Daddy, and Savior. So when you look into the financial system, right, there's criminal codes. So you commit a crime, they have a right to arrest you. So down in Texas, they have a criminal code that it's a misdemeanor if you are having a relationship with the same sex, right? So it could be a guy or a girl. And this part is where it gets criminal. So they filled up all of the government agencies with their kind of people, and they instruct them and like threaten them with this: Jesus will burn you in hell if you do not follow what we tell you to do. So this makes Jesus a criminal in the afterlife. And also the Grim Reaper, that skeleton thing with the black hoodie, and that it's like a, I forgot what it's called. It's like a stick, and then it's like a knife at the top. That's the angel of death, or the Grim Reaper. And now, based on the conservatives' actions, yeah, a Sith. Thank you. Rolando Sajid says that tool that the Grim Reaper holds is called a Sith. So now, these conservatives in our modern day, right? If they have the power and authority over this angel of death, right? This angel of death is now a criminal in the afterlife. Hang on one second. Rolando Sahid says he got a question, and he was like, do you think the lack of interest in black on black violence is what makes it so prevalent? Didn't you ask me that before? I had sent you to a video, a live stream in my chat. And it's like a 3-hour long video. But it was an interview with a Trump supporter. Did I answer? I can't remember. I went over something about black something. I tried to answer it. But do you think the lack of interest in black on black violence is what makes it so prevalent? So the violence is happening because nobody is paying attention to it, is where you're coming from. I think there's a lot of coverage of black on black violence. You got Martin Luther King, you got Rosa Parks, you just had George Floyd. It's a questionable situation, but it's like a power control situation. And it's a main family, right? So you would have to look up like all of the slave owners, right? And see who their families are today, and see what they inherited, like as in stocks, companies, bonds, stuff like that. And these people are some of the shadiest people you could ever encounter. So they would like dispatch their police officers to basically go like try to destroy or dismantle a black community with like false accusations. That way they could have a story to tell to basically help themselves stay in power, because they don't want to be arrested by black people because it makes them, it's like an ego thing or something like that. It makes them feel weird as a white person. And the reason why they don't want to be arrested is because they are trafficking minors, right? They sexually assault kids, grown adults, and they do like messed up stuff to them. It's like these bizarre clubs that they got, right? So they'll get in a lot of trouble for that. So they don't want black people to arrest them, because the torment that they are thinking that they're going to experience based on what they're doing to others, they don't want to experience it. So it's like, it's a complicated situation. So back to my Texas situation. All right, so I was talking about, the financial system. So I just came across a story. A lady denied people a marriage certificate. So she said it's part of her job. Now, if she's part of the church, right, and she's dedicated, and she gives like 10% of her salary every month. Uh, then it's like she's brainwashed into the cult. So let's say there's a gay couple down in Texas, right? It could be lesbian or gay. And it's a family thing, right? So the parents, right, passed away and they left their kids, right, $100,000. And they said, y'all gonna split it between both of y'all. So now the politicians, the judges, the police officers, all right, I don't believe you, but okay. So the politicians, the judges, the pastors, the professors of the universities and the colleges, they got community college down there. They are all in this racketeering organization. So the church, right, is like the front man or the primary criminal suspect or whatever. And what happens is they would put the gay son in jail, right? And when they put the gay son in jail, what happens is if it was $50,000 for the gay son, right? The system down in Texas would steal it from the gay son, give it to the daughter. So now she has 100,000 and the son doesn't have the money. So then that 10% of 100,000 is 10,000. So if the gay son was supposed to get 5,000, right? Because it's 10% of 50,000 is 5,000. It went to the daughter of the family that's brainwashed by the church, and she went to church, gave the church 10% of her tidings, which is the $5,000 from the gay son. So this is a racketeering, bank robbing situation. And all those judges, yeah, I'm back. I wasn't trying to get like that copyright strike bullshit. So we are talking about the judges, right? And the amount of trouble that we are in with Texas as Democrats. So the federal government is hijacked, right? So we can't use the FBI to basically set up that system for the Democrats. So arresting the professors of the Christian colleges in Texas, the the pastors, the conservative pastors, the politicians, because Jesus not coming. So we're going to give them 7 days and 7 nights, right? To basically have Lord Daddy Jesus give them their rapture. So if Jesus don't give them the rapture, these people are criminals. So what we're going to do is we have to use, I guess, the local elections to attempt to secure this system, right, for Texas, because there's something weird that's going on. Donald Trump is attempting a genocide, right? And the genocide could basically start killing off people within the next 6 months because he's like shutting down the seaports. He doesn't want goods coming into the country because he fucks little kids. So these Democrats, they're just like sitting by, attempting to wait for next year's election process when damn near a lot of them will be dead, if based on what Trump was trying to do, which is a genocide. He's trying to murder Democrats so he don't go to jail. So, and then it gets worse if they want to wait till 2028 to do something about Trump, because then all the Democrats will definitely be dead. So this is what's weird about this whole Trump genocide BS. And it's dangerous because on top of that, we got to manage coastal floods. So Texas, they got a seaport, and we have to secure the seaport to allow goods to keep coming in and out of the country because the ice caps are melting, and that's climate change. So Trump lied about climate change. He bullshit the whole world, talking about climate change is a fucking hoax, and it's not. And that's another level of the genocide that he attempted, because the climate change will wipe out like billions of people. So, yeah, that whole Texas system needs to be like secured like as soon as possible. So they're doing abortions, right? I mean, they're going after Democrats because there's abortions on their side of the political spectrum. And these idiots, right, on top of these weird ass versions of a genocide, they would like us to be forced to have babies so we can witness them and the wrath of God murder everybody around the whole world. So, like, the stuff that they're talking about in the churches is really dumb. And we got to set up a investigation agency or start taking criminal complaints for all the content creators that's this pro-conservative, pro-Jesus, gospel garbage nonsense. So, you got Glenn Beck. He's a fucking doofus. He just attempted on his show to accuse the Democrats, which is George Soros, right? He just uploaded a video talking about George Soros is a currency manipulator. But what's so weird is we're like many years ahead of him. So he's like many years too late to announce anything about currency manipulation. So I've been like showing people how Trump is doing the currency manipulation. And now when he's trying to like talk about it, it's going to show that he's knowledgeable about it and how it's wrong and all kinds of stuff. Because every time they try to talk about morality and ethics, it's like they are publishing their acknowledgement of right and wrong. And when they go to court for all of their crimes, it's going to make them look so freaking stupid. So whatever charges that we press against them, they might as well just take the guilty plea. So they're not going to get out of jail for the rest of their life because of what they did. And yeah, they might as well just like plead guilty. So back to Texas. So their values, right? You got the anti-abortion conservatives. You got the anti-gay agenda conservatives. And then you got the border, right? With the immigrants, right? So now we're going to go into international finance. So these idiots down in Texas called conservatives, when you ask them that if they are okay with BRICS, right? BRICS. So that's Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. So when you ask them if they are okay with this, they say no, that's a threat to the United States, right? So then it's like all the countries are dying because these idiots don't want to print money. And they are responsible for the whole world, right? So when all the countries say, fuck it, we're going to do our own thing, these pedophiles now want to go to war for some odd reason. So they have this bizarre obsession with controlling. Ernesto says, we need the whole hood with us. Yep, we need. Well, actually, I'm proud of the Democrats. The voters, the politicians are dumb as shit. But the voters, we have like 80% of the Democrats for the whole, like, past 16 to 20 years that was voting Democrat, yo. We barely lost any Democrats. So you got you got a handful of idiot Democrats. Yeah, because so Ernesto says, we the most hated, right? As in the Democrats. So both of us are Democrats right now. And it's because the Democrats, they didn't fight back how they should. They have like rules, right, on the books to basically protect people. And Trump, if you ever see those like crazy apocalypse movies and then you see like this weird gang and they ride up on dirt bikes and motorcycles and then they start doing circles around the victim. So that's what Trump is doing, right? So the Democrats, the politicians, are in the circle and they're just like, I guess they're trying to like take out the riders. But that system is a distraction because all the voters or the citizens, they're like slowly getting economically crushed. And there are policies and procedures that would allow the Democrats to basically block off Donald Trump, but they wasn't doing it. So they were supposed to declare a state of emergency. They let Donald Trump do that shit, and he just ran with it. Every fucking thing under Donald Trump was a state of emergency, just so he could hide little kids. But these Democrats, barely any of them declared it when they was in the right to declare it based on what Trump was doing. So these idiots wanted to wait, right, for another political cycle to try to vote him out. And it's just, yeah, it's bad, yo. So I'm still on the Democratic side, but I'm trying to make smarter Democrats, and we're going to like take over the whole shit. Every country, well, America is getting ready to take the leadership over all the countries because the S&P 500 is here, the New York Stock Exchange is here, and we're going to like fix everything. So on top of that, we're going to be doing coastal evacuations and keeping everybody safe. So the Democrats, the future Democrats, we are like elite, I guess, government agents, employees, whatever you want to call us. Yeah, we're about to be like superstars. So, yeah, so the Texas people down in Texas, right? They want to talk national and international politics. And their obsession with controlling their ability to keep the upper hand, it's starting to fade out. That's for sure. Because I revealed a lot of the shady stuff that they're doing. And let me see. Yeah, I covered it all. The abortions. Oh, the abortions. They're doing something really stupid. And there's a it's called a trolley problem, and you could Google it. It shows up on YouTube. So it has to do with two trolley tracks, and it's like if five people are on one track and one person's on the other track, which direction would you let the trolley take? Because somebody's going to die, right? So five people are going to die or one person going to die, and which person would you save? So when it comes to abortions, these idiots are attempting to save the fetuses, right? Which is the one person on the track, by running over five people. And a lot of these five people, they are specialists in the government, and they keep the whole world stable and safe. And the conservatives would like to basically just run over the five people to save fetuses, while obstructing rescue operations for coastal floods. And also they acknowledge, because God says so, that God is flooding the earth right now as we speak. So these people are like psychotic, and it's bizarre nonsense. So that's all I got. EJ Wiley gots to go. Signing out.